Imagine a system so fluid it feels like chaos, but so disciplined it works like a clock. That is the Union Saint-Gilloise 3-4-3. They don't just play football, they dictate it. From their relentless high press to their clinical verticality, this Belgian side is a masterclass in modern positioning. Forget the names on the back of the shirts. Look at the movement. It's fast, it's beautiful, and it's arguably the best coached system in Europe right now. Let's dive into the blueprint. The initial shape, the asymmetric diamond. Let's step into the tactical laboratory in Brussels. Forget the static 3-4-3 you see in coaching manuals. When Union Saint-Gilloise initiates play, their structure mutates instantly. The three center backs don't stay flat. Instead, the libero, the central ball player, steps up several meters, while the outsiders, or wide center backs, split almost to the touchline. The objective? To create an asymmetric diamond with the base of the midfield. This isn't possession for aesthetics, it's a provocation. USG is literally drawing passing lanes to invite the opponent's press. It is the pure concept of baiting the press, luring the man out of position to destroy the entire defensive structure with a single vertical touch. The double pivot and shadow zone manipulation. Observe the two central midfielders. They never remain on the same horizontal plane. One drops deep to support the defenders, while the other positions himself constantly in the shadow zone of the opposition strikers. This is spatial manipulation at its finest. If the opponent decides to screen the center, USG activates the wingbacks. But here is the stroke of genius. The wingbacks don't start high. They start deep to drag the opposition fullbacks far away from their own penalty area. In this exact microsecond, a vacuum is created between the opponent's midfield and defensive lines. This is where Union wins matches. They aren't looking for the short, safe pass. They are looking for the line-breaking verticality. Brutal verticality, the third man concept. Once the trap is sprung, the build-up becomes electric. You will never see three horizontal passes in a row. The ball travels toward the two strikers or the attacking midfielders floating in the half spaces. But this isn't a random long ball. It's a calculated pass designed to activate the third man. The striker drops deep, attracts the central defender, and immediately flicks the ball, first time, to the oncoming midfielder facing the goal. In less than 3 seconds, Union has moved from their own 6-yard box to a 4v3 situation in the final third. It is football that doesn't allow you to think. It is biomechanics applied to the green rectangle. Conclusion: why is this system so lethal? Because USG accepts the risk. They accept playing one-on-one in the build-up because they know that once the first line of pressure is bypassed, they have prairies of green grass to exploit. It's a mix of courage and millimetric precision. This isn't just building from the back, it's a tactical declaration of war against anyone brave enough to press them high. If you want to see how this translates into goals, stay with me for the next chapter on offensive development. But first, look closely at this positioning. This is where the Union miracle begins.
אפשר לגנוב אותך קצת למחוזות אחרים? מומלץ.
The triple threat in final third domination. Staggering in the 3-2-5 overload. Let's dissect the moment Union Saint-Gilloise crosses the halfway line. The rigid 3-4-3 shape dissolves, giving way to a devastatingly fluid, attacking staggered structure, frequently settling into a symmetric or asymmetric 3-2-5 or 3-1-6. The primary tactical mandate here is to overload the opposition's last line, pinning their defensive unit deep into their own territory. USG utilizes an aggressive high line, pushing 7 or 8 players into advanced positions, while the center backs position themselves at the high block to smother any attempted clearance. This is not casual possession. It is a strangulation tactic designed to maximize numerical superiority in critical zones. Flank rotations, the half-space protocol. The true complexity of USG's attack lies on the flanks, particularly the relationship between the wingbacks, the number 10s, the inverted wingers, and the overlapping central defenders. They apply a constant triple threat rotation. The wingbacks pin the opponent's fullbacks as high and wide as possible, stretching the horizontal compact of the defensive block. This unlocks the half spaces. Here, the interior midfielders operating in these corridors receive the ball, instantly creating a 2v1 or 3v2 situation. The key mechanism is the blindside run, a diagonal sprint from the half space into the gap behind the center back in Terzino, completely disrupting their defensive orientation. The stripping of the defensive mechanisms. What makes this attack so robust is the lack of rigidity. While one wingback provides the maximal width, the other often drifts inside, overloading the center as an extra midfielder, disrupting the opponent's tracking responsibilities. Crucially, the overlapping bracchetti, the wide center backs, add an unexpected layer. By stepping up, they act as deep playmakers or even decoy runners, forcing the opponent's second line to make impossible decisions, cover the center, track the half-space run, or press the center back. It is a system designed to strip defensive mechanisms one by one, capitalizing on positional disorientation. Execution, the cutback and golden zone focus. The final objective is rarely a speculative cross. Instead, USG relies on the highly efficient low cutback. Their final third penetration targets the end line zone. A player drives to the edge of the 6-yard box and squares the ball back diagonally toward the penalty spot, the golden zone. This creates the highest probability scoring opportunity. Late-running midfielders and strikers arrive unmarked, facing the goal, while the entire defense is oriented backward, scrambling. It is an attacking blueprint based on biomechanics, numerical probability, and lethal efficiency. They don't just attack the goal, they engineer the collapse of the defense.
סנט-ג'ילואז יוצאת להתקפה, שוב כל הכדורים הולכים לאגף השמאלי, משם כל ההתקפות של סנט-ג'ילואז, ומשם גם כמעט מצד השער השני. יפה לראות אצל הבלגי.
Let's dismantle the myth that Union Saint-Gilloise wins through passive defending. Their defensive phase doesn't begin in their own half. It begins the millisecond they lose possession. This is the 5-second counter-press protocol. The moment the ball is turned over, The three closest players, regardless of their nominal position, collapse onto the ball carrier like a hunting pack. This isn't just running, it's a coordinated closure of all immediate passing lanes. They don't want to regroup, they want to exploit the opponent's transition chaos. By winning the ball back in the final third, they turn a defensive moment into a high-probability scoring chance before the opposition can even expand their shape. The mid-block structure, the iron box. If the initial press is bypassed, USG transforms into a compact, narrow 5-3-2 or 5-2-3 mid-block. The objective here is central congestion. They create what analysts call the iron box in the middle of the pitch. By tucking their wingbacks slightly inside and keeping the midfield trio incredibly tight, they force the opponent out of the central corridor. They're literally daring you to play wide. Why? Because the touchline is the best defender in the world. Once the ball moves to the flank, it triggers a lateral trap. The wingback jumps, the ball side midfielder shifts to lock the half space, and the near side center back steps up to negate any turn and face opportunity. It's a suffocating, cage-like mechanism. The rest defense and backline aggression. The true backbone of this system is their rest defense. While the strikers are attacking, the three central defenders and at least one pivot midfielder maintain a strict 3+1 or 2+2 staggering behind the ball. This ensures that even during their own offensive phase, they are defending while attacking. Look at the aggression of the wide center backs, the Bracetti. They don't drop off, they proactively defend by stepping into the midfield to intercept vertical passes. This high-line bravery is backed by elite ball-oriented shifting. The entire unit moves as a single organism, closing the space between the lines to less than 15 meters. If you try to play through them, you are playing into a meat grinder. Conclusion: the psychological toll. Why does this work? Because it exerts a massive psychological toll. Opponents know that any technical error in the build-up will be punished by an immediate, high-intensity swarm. USG doesn't just defend space, they defend time. They take away your time to think, your time to look up, and your time to execute. This defensive masterclass is the foundation of their 3-4-3 success. It's not just a formation, it's a relentless 90-minute interrogation of the opponent's composure. Understand their defense, and you understand why they're top of the table. Now, let's wrap this up with the final verdict on the Union Saint-Gilloise revolution.
Como van a sair hacia atrás.